and welcome. This is Fireworks. Pundits say a day in politicking can make all the difference in the calculations of the politician. But this may have failed the proverbial test following the All Progressives Congress National Executive Committee meeting, where National Chairman Adams Oshiomhole came out unscathed, contrary to indications that the Progressives governors would move for his removal. Let's process, amongst other things, President Muhammadu Buhari's efforts to assuage aggrieved parties. Welcome. Let's take a moment. Welcome once again to Fireworks. My guest today is the Director General, All Progressives Congress Governors Forum. That's the Progressives Governors Forum, Mr. Lukman Saliu. Welcome to Fireworks.
Thank you very much.
So let's start this way. In the past, not too recent past really, many have wondered about the place of the Governors Forum, not just the one peculiar to a political party. So bring us up to speed with the objectives of a Governors Forum or a Progressives of the Progressives Governors Forum.
Well, first, it's important to recall that the governors under the legacy parties that merged to form the All Progressive Congress played pivotal role during the process of negotiating the merger. And around that period, they also thought it's important to have almost like a think tank, a kind of policy setup that will be able to help with recommendations in terms of the policy directions of state governments. So in summary, that is the vision, on the basis of which some of us were invited and asked to provide leadership to set up the secretariat and develop the needed program orientation that will drive the activities of the Progressive Governors Forum. As it is today, we operate based on 3 programs: governance, legislative, and media and communication. And each of our programs has a steering committee that is led by the governors, with membership drawn from basically knowledgeable people, some of them non-partisan people, but people committed to issues of development. And good enough, we're just coming from Jos, where we had what we call the federal government PGF Pali on policy synergy. And the idea is to really look at some of the emerging initiatives, from one on the side of the federal government, 2 on the side of some of our states, and to see how there can be some level of synergy that will ensure issues of service delivery are strengthened.
So essentially it's a development think tank.
Yes.
For the Progressives governors.
Yes.
So is it recognized in the APC constitution, this organization?
Well, it's not a question of being recognized in the APC constitution. It's a question of basically taking advantage of the primary function of a party, which has to do with the question of negotiating interests. The governors are a block of interest, and just like members of the National Assembly, members of the legislative arm of government can constitute a block of interest, so also any other group can come together within a party. And but in terms of representation in the structures of the party, the governors are already entrenched in the constitution of the party. They are members of the National Executive Council, they are members of National Caucus, and when the Board of Trustees come on board, they are members of the Board of Trustees.
So it doesn't have to be recognized, and it is not covered in the Constitution.
I mean, unless you are talking in terms of the Progressive Governors Forum being written in the Constitution, no. Okay.
So you talked about negotiating interest. When the APC governors demanded that the national chairman convenes the NEC meeting or resign, The meeting was held less than 2 weeks after that. Was the Progressives Governors Forum negotiating interest?
Well,
the
first,
interest of the
let's-
APC
let's-
governors?
Let's clarify. The governors as a bloc did not ask the national chairman to convene meeting or resign. In my capacity as a member of the party and somebody who is very concerned about the way things are going, I raised those concerns. And on the basis of which I issued that statement, and I think I clarify further, there was no meeting of governors where that position was taken. But like I said, first, as a Nigerian, two, as a member of the party, three, as a privileged person, given the position I occupy as Director General of the Progressive Governors, which enabled me to relate with not just governors, also other party leaders. I know the concern, the frustration of almost every party leader and member. The important thing is that once we come in, the process of building the party is expected to depart from those political culture that Nigerians were complaining from. And we had a very good starting point. The convention that produced President Buhari as a candidate of the APC in 2014, December, was perhaps a major selling point for Nigerians that made Nigerians to have confidence that, yeah, it's true, this party is different. Here we were going for 2019 election. The debate around the mode of primaries, I mean, everybody was disturbed because where is the member? So at the end of the day, it was agreed instead of direct primary, because if we have credible membership database, that will have been the way to go, where every member of the party will have a sense of participation in terms of producing the candidates of the party. Unfortunately, because of lack of membership, credible membership database, we opted for the all method, which is indirect primaries. Now, around the same period, the controversy around what to do with National Assembly members, whether they should have automatic ticket and whatnot, came up. And that led to a lot of things being mismanaged. And I think that is the issue. Now you expect, notwithstanding whatever happened in the 2019 election, you expect that immediately after the election, the leadership of the party will swing into action to begin to make amends regarding all the problems that has cropped up. But rather than do that, we just continue with the all fight. Our leaders at all levels, in virtually every state, continue to fight. And you can predict, therefore, that the same fighting will continue up to 2023. If you ask me to name one person that has capacity to drive the process of negotiating resolution of all the conflicts we have, I will mention Comrade Adams as that one person. Unfortunately, what I see is that instead of applying himself in that way, he has become a disputant. And I keep making appeal to him and to every leader of the party to please stop being a disputer. At this point, it's for us to really bring everybody together.
So did you issue the statement on behalf of the APC governors or in your own capacity as a concerned member of the party?
I think I've clarified that. I have issued the statement in my own capacity as a
But your statement reads, the governors added, one part of the statement. It is very painful for many of us who have had the privilege of being mentored by Comrade Oshiomhole to see him being devalued to a local factional leader from a very high pedestal of an illustrious national leader. As national chairman, Comrade Oshiomhole hardly appreciates that he now has a national constituency and not just a state constituency, which may have been responsible for his apparent intemperance in the handling of matters affecting Edo State. I pick that phrase again. The governors added.
In fact, even if you don't pick it, I will draw your attention to the fact that that is addition of the reporter. If you have the original statement, it doesn't come from the governor. And in any case, was Comrade Adams Oshimole a mentor to governors? He was a mentor. He was my mentor. So that reference is personal. So I never, and if you get a...
But why didn't you read, it is very painful for me. It reads for many of us.
Well, again.
And then it could be confusing. You are the DG of the progressive
because you see,
governors.
Get it very clear. From the beginning, I said I spoke as first as a Nigerian, 2 as a member of the party, 3 as a privileged person given the position I occupy. I relate with not just governors, I relate with most leaders of the party. So I have a feel of the frustration. So in terms of style of writing, I mean, you are referring to the style of the writing. I don't write based on that singular phrase. I don't do I.
But then a governor from the Southwest has dissociated himself from this statement.
Look, whether he dissociates himself, whether a governor, I don't know about a governor dissociating himself from the statement, but I think a day after or 2 days after, here in this office, I addressed the media, and I made it very clear, this didn't come from governors. And my point, and I will still stand by my point, you know, I didn't speak on behalf, and I know the procedure for governors to speak, to issue this kind of statement. There will have been a meeting where they will have agreed. Even if all of them don't agree, at least majority will have agreed, you know, on the basis of which it wouldn't have come from me, it will have come from the chairman. And it will carry all the authority of the forum. This is not on any, whether on letterhead of forum or on...
But you said
anything.
earlier that you interact with these governors and you know their concerns.
I say not just governors. Get me very clear.
Party members.
Party members. Look.
So can you say that you have spoken the mind of party members who include governors in this statement?
I don't know what you want to gain with that. I don't want to elevate myself to a status that I don't have. I don't have that status.
No, because you're the Director General of the
I'm a servant.
Governors Forum. So
it
would be safe to say that you represent the interests of APC governors.
No, get it very clear. If I'm going to take instruction from governors, there are procedures to discuss with them and get the necessary approval.
Indeed, it is the firm belief that had Comrade Oshomole not taken over, the crisis of the APC at the time would have snowballed to the extent that the party may have lost more at the 2019 general election.
You see, the point you need to appreciate, I mean, definitely Comrade Adams made very good contributions. There is no doubt about it. The issue is that are this contribution sufficient to guarantee the survival of the party? I'm arguing that there are other major issues that we need to really address if we need this party. And I'm happy President Buhari read them. He said so, the party leaders need to work hard to ensure that this party survives beyond his tenure. Feel betrayed.
So just before break now, and I need a brief answer to this. After the statement and the National Executive Committee meeting, you are not sitting on the fence, you're not doing damage control by this position that you're holding?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay, you're watching fireworks. My guest is the Director General APC Progressives Governors Forum. We're looking at the internal wranglings within the party and efforts of reconciliation that are currently ongoing. When we return, we'll make progress to look at more contending issues. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on Fireworks. If you've been watching, my guest today is the Director General of the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum, Mr. Lukman Saliu. We've been looking at the dispute arising from what is seen to be the management or leadership style, if you like, of the national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, and efforts of reconciliation. As we make progress now, going forward, reports arrive that those suspended, former governors Okorocha and Amosu and Governor of Ondo, Akeredolu, have gotten off the hook. If indeed they are, please confirm. And if they did, what precedent is the party setting?
I'm not aware of a decision that says governors have gotten off the hook. But my understanding is that the decision of the National Executive Council is to set up a committee, a reconciliation committee that will move around and look at all these cases on the basis of which it is based on their own findings that they will be able to make recommendation to, I think, the National Executive Council again, and then that organ will then take the final decision. But at the moment, I think the issue, my own understanding will be to say that, how do you put it, until those people are found guilty, they should remain innocent. My take is that I honestly think that we need to have some introspection, you know.
You say until they're found guilty, they should remain innocent. Do you require a process to find them guilty? Weren't there
that is
quote unquote anti-party activities evidence to
well, get it clear.
every Nigerian?
This is where I'm always fast to make the point. I'm not a fan of the legality, but that's the legal framework. You know, even when things are non-glaringly, you have to go through that process to get an affirmation that that is the case. So, and I think if we really want to institutionalize the party, that is the way to go. And until the party is able to develop the capacity internally to handle all of these things, without having some external distraction, because when a member of the party go to court, it's external distraction. But if there is internal capacity, the party member can go through organ, because we are all, as members of our ward. If I go to my ward and debate my issue. And this is our worry. Right now, I don't think any structure of the party is meeting, and I think President Buhari must be addressing the neck with that in mind.
And that takes us to Edo State. If indeed, to use your words, the party lacks internal capacity, in responding to the Edo issue, why uphold the suspension of the state party chairman and not the suspension of the others that were suspended on the same day, i.e. the secretary of the party? Isn't that partial?
Who has upheld the suspension?
The party issued a statement signed by the publicity secretary, Isa
That
Onilu.
was National Working Committee. But my understanding, what transpired at the NEC, was that the same chairman was the one who attended. I think he got a court injunction or something to stay, for the party to stay action. So the party has not, by that neck, the party has not sustained the suspension of the state chairman.
State chairman.
That is my understanding.
But that is contrary to the reports out there.
No, but go and check the state chairman, the same state chairman that is alleged to have been suspended was in attendance at that NEC, based on respect of the court injunction. So how could he have attended if the NEC has sustained his suspension?
Perhaps let's not see this as a resolution, but as an insight into what may happen in 2023. It appears the party is wooing the candidate who ran against the incumbent in Edo State, to now fly the party's ticket in 2020 now, ahead of next year's election. So
let me tell you,
does that reflect the kind of values that members of the party embrace?
This is some of my worry. When I hear this report, certainly this is at variance with the standard that Comrade Adams is known for. Because
and these are some of your concerns.
The question I can ask readily, if that is true, how does that solve the problem that is identified with Governor Obaseki? I mean, some of the issues, the one that escalated it is about, is it convening the State Assembly? What do they call it? There is a letter.
Proclamation.
Proclamation letter. Now, to what extent, I mean, replacing Obaseki with Ize-Iyamu, to what extent will that solve the problem? The Comrade Adams I know is somebody who, and I don't see anybody in Edo State that he cannot engage to the extent of negotiating to resolve all these matters. Because what is negotiation all about? It's about trade-off. All this, and this is part of my pain, the State Assembly, majority of them are APC. It's not as if those who refuse to respect the proclamation are members of PDP. The governor is APC. And then the national chairman is from that state. Why should we be in public fighting each other? To the extent that the matter is not, we are not able to resolve it either within the structures of the party in Edo State or at national level, National Assembly, with PDP and other parties, are now the ones intervening to attempt to resolve the matter. And I believe what played out in the case of Edo matter departed substantially from the standard of Comrade Adams. And I keep making the point, for the 8 years Comrade Adams presided over NLC, we never had a case of a faction in any of our affiliate unions. And it's not because there were no leadership disagreement or dispute. There were, sometimes leading to even loss of job for president or general secretaries of affiliate unions. But it gets managed at the end of the day. And that is the kind of standard I expect to see the party being managed with. I feel bad when I see publicly Comrade Adams exchanging word with Governor Obaseki. I feel bad. I feel bad. And I believe every member of APC will feel bad about it.
All right, Director General Lukman Saliu, we hope some of your concerns and your vision for the All Progressives Congress, Governors Forum, and the party as a whole will be beautifully realized. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And contributions on the program today.
Thank you very much.
That's our offering on this edition of Fireworks. Thank you for watching. There'll be a repeat broadcast on the times showing on your screen, and we'll promise to bring you another edition of the program same time next week. I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.